Hello, sir.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I decided to try to catch you in the beard contest.
Yeah, I see that. I was a little thrown off. I see a different thing on your face and a different environment behind you.
Yeah, things are changing. There's change in the air. So the beard is because I was at a lake house last week, which was great. I recommend renting a lake house for a week and inviting a bunch of your friends and family.
Yeah, I've done that a few times up on Lake Superior. It's always a good time.
It's just wonderful. To me, waking up by the water is like as good as it gets.
Yeah, totally. And being able to hear the waves and stuff. Mm-hmm. Is there any waves on your
There
lake?
were no waves in our lake. There was the quiet lapping of the lake against the shore. But I really enjoy the quietness of it. Like I got up really early one morning and made some coffee and then like paddled out in the canoe before the sun came up, and it was just totally magical.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. Super good. So that was really quite relaxing and nice. So I let the beard go and have not tamed it since then. And the background is different because I moved out of my apartment. This is kind of procrastination and kind of clever logistic planning. It's hard to say which one was a bigger factor, but I'm not going to rent an apartment for September because during September I'm going to be on Martha's Vineyard for the month.
Okay.
So I go to Martha's Vineyard several times a year. It's this island off the coast of Massachusetts, and I have family there. And every year I'm like, I should go for like a long chunk of time. Like I have this ability to do this and not pay, and it's wonderful. And this year I was like, I actually can do this now. So I'm going to be there all month.
Very nice. Yeah, so you can save a little bit of dough and...
Exactly. So I didn't find the perfect apartment or anything, so I was like, well, I just won't get one. And then I'll have no rent payment in September. And when I come back, I'll start looking for places. And so as of right now, I'm a 36-year-old man living with my parents.
Well, there's many an entrepreneur who have moved in with their parents for one reason or another.
Exactly, yeah. In the movie version of this story, we'll just spin this into like, and then I had to move in with my parents and kept struggling and tried to make it work.
Right. Yeah. You can rewrite the lore.
It'll be perfect, yeah.
How many personal belongings do you have? Would you call yourself a minimalist, or was this like a big deal to like move all your stuff out?
Well, so first of all, I hired movers, which is
nice. Yeah.
Easily the best money you can spend, I think.
Pro tip. Yep.
Yeah. I did it last time, and after I did it, I was like, well, I will never again move my own things. This was clearly 100% worth it. And so I did that again. That helps a lot. I had like a bedroom and then like a couch and some, like not a ton of furniture. And all told, it was like under $500. And the fact that like I'm just like hanging out, playing on my phone while like moving is happening is just like, it was so worth it. So that wasn't too bad, but I am like fairly minimalist, I would say. Although moving shows you how not true that is.
Yeah.
Like you go into the basement, you're like, oh God, that's right. I put a bunch of crap down here that I wasn't even thinking about. The thing that I feel most torn about is the stuff that I like to use every once in a while. So it's like, okay, every so often I go camping and I want to have this like down underquilt from my hammock for when I go camping in the fall and it's cold. And it's like, do I need this? Like, not really. I almost never use it, but it's expensive and I don't really want to get rid of it. And it's just those are the items that really, they tear me up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. And like, I can attest that, I moved, let's see, it was 4 months ago or so. That was extremely disruptive. I didn't go all in on the, on having movers do everything, which I would definitely, next time I will be doing that for sure.
Yeah, never again for me, hopefully.
Yeah.
By the way, living at home is not all bad. Like I did some laundry, going out to dinner with the parents. Like it's pretty good. It's fun.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then basically in half a week or so, I'm going to head down to the island and live that life for a little bit.
Nice. So you have good, solid internet connection there, I'm assuming?
There's an internet connection.
You can test poor latency situations for Tuple while you're out there.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we'll see how recording goes. I'm going to bring my mic so we can keep it going. And this is a working vacation kind of thing. So I plan to be getting stuff done. So I should have some fodder to talk about.
Nice.
But yeah, that should be good. Got something on my mind right now, which is, this kind of actually might be a good question for you, although I think I know the answer, which is, so I'm talking to a prospect who did a trial with a limited group of their company, and they liked it a lot, and they want to actually roll it out to everyone. And this is like a really good prospect for us, like definitely like right in our sweet spot. One of the things that is a hard blocker for them is supporting a single sign-on. I don't know quite what flavor of it they use. It seems to be there's maybe one or two. But it would definitely require changes on the back end for us to support that, changes on the app to be able to like, authenticate from a browser kind of thing. And it's like we can't roll this out / pay you until you have this. So it's kind of this like, okay, do we stop what we're doing and build this thing for this one company who will probably convert, but might not anyway? Like we could build it and then there's like, actually JK, or do we not? And that's like kind of something I've been turning over in my head today.
Interesting. Single sign-on, you meaning like through G Suite or something? Or what's the,
I believe,
what the technology looks like?
I've only done some cursory investigation on this. I believe Google is one of the providers of a single sign-on thing. So you can't, like, if you decide to use G Suite as your like authentication source of truth, I think you can kind of use it that way. There seems to be a couple protocols or something by which you sort of, like single sign-on is kind of like a high-level goal as opposed to like a specific architecture, it seems like. And then there are particular implementations of like SAML appears to be one of these.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of hand-wavy on all this at this point.
Because at this point, is it the rationale that they are trying to basically, it's kind of like putting security controls or audit controls in place for their organization to say like anybody who's within this domain or whatever is allowed to create an account, provision an account?
Yes, that appears to be what it is. Okay. And like if someone leaves the organization, you can disable one thing and then they lose access to all the things.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I've implemented like OAuth flows and stuff quite a bit for drip integrations, and I'm actually doing that right now for an integration I'm building. It's not too terrible. Like, I guess it's probably one of those things like I feel like the answer would depend on scoping out the work and seeing how widespread it is. I feel like this would be as you get more enterprisey type clients, I feel like it's going to come up again. So it's probably not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so it's just like, is now the right time? That's kind of how I would think about it.
Yes, I think that's yeah. We have had some other people ask us for it. And at the time we were kind of like, yeah, if it's a deal breaker, I'm sorry, like we're not going to do this now. But this particular customer will be really good, I think. This would be harder to say no to. Also, it sort of presents as interesting, like, well, this is the perfect enterprise feature, where it's like this is the perfect price discriminating kind of opportunity, where it's like no one who's below 100 or 200 people is going to want this. So it's like, okay, oh yeah, we absolutely offer that. It's in the enterprise tier. Talk to sales for pricing kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
This one question kind of touches a bunch of parts of the business, where it's like, okay, are we going to stop engineering and product management stuff? Okay, it requires back-end work, requires front-end work. Okay, we're going to figure out pricing and packaging and all this stuff. And it's just like, okay, I thought I knew what I was going to do this week. And then this one email from someone's like, ooh, maybe all this stuff is different. And like all three of us are going to stop what we're doing and do something new.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I haven't read it yet, but I fully intend to. The shape up stuff from the Basecamp team. And I feel like there's probably some opinions in there about how to approach this that I'm not fully versed on, but it like, because they talk a lot about like, shaping up your work and then committing to it and basically not changing what you're doing for a certain batch of time. And I wonder if I struggle with that because at the same time, I like to be extremely responsive to customers and like implement those quick wins. That's some of the most magical stuff you can do as a product person. So it's like, when is it warranted to interrupt what you've been working on and flip over to something that could have a big impact?
Exactly. Yeah. I know I've said before, but like this is one of the strengths that we have. This is one of our advantages.
Right.
And so never doing it, I think, is the wrong choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's also one more. So I tweeted about this too, asking people for their experiences and sent some emails. And the consensus is it's not too bad. No one loves it. And apparently writing automated tests around this is pretty annoying because it's like, there's like a handshake that happens with like a remote provider kind of thing. So like it's annoying to test these things. But one thing that I'm kind of kicking myself for, again, is I'm pretty sure I used the Thoughtbot Rails template when we spun up the backend, which I think is overall a good idea. Maybe I made my own gem choices. I can't remember. But anyway, we ended up using this sort of uncommon authentication gem. It's called Oath. And it's written by a former Thoughtbotter friend of mine. And overall is a pretty good gem, but it's not common. It's not popular. And so If we use devise, there's just like devise SSO, drop-in-ish kind of thing for this.
Yeah.
But there's definitely not for ours. And so it's
shoot.
like, oh God. We've wanted this for other things too. Like we've wanted a more standard authentication gem for other things, like email confirmation type stuff. So it's like, oh man, do I let the scope of this increase? So it's like, maybe we should swap authentication gems. And what does that mean for our hashed passwords and the scheme for maintaining that backwards compatibility with that? And it's like, oh man, this is intimidatingly large potentially.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. It's like, yeah, you're comparing rewinding some legacy decisions versus forging ahead. Yeah, if you end up needing to you want to drop in like numerous SSO providers or something, you want that to be a really smooth process where you can just keep dropping them in, If you're having to fight against your existing authentication system every time you do that would not be good.
I think this is one of the hardest engineering decisions to make, is where it's like, do you keep pushing down the road you don't really want to go down, but it will be a much smaller effort than backing all the way up and heading down a better road?
Yeah.
This is like really challenging to make the right call here.
Yeah. Do you do it right the first time, or do you make decisions in the name of being fast and continuing to move forward without stepping back? I guess it becomes kind of a technical debt issue almost, like, or a legacy accrual at least. Yeah.
The tricky part is it's always easiest to stick with what you have. The easiest thing will always be to just add another method onto your God object. If you have a giant user class, the easiest home for the next method will always be on the user class. The hard part will always be, okay, break out a new object to handle these new responsibilities. But if you never do that, you just continually making things worse and worse. So it's like, okay, do we stop here and pay this penalty? And is it the right choice? Is it now? So it's challenging.
Yeah. These are the hard questions.
Yes, indeed. But that's why they pay us the big bucks.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what's on my mind lately.
Cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems like it's a good problem to have, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm faced with this client who wants to pay me money, and I just have to decide if I'm going to do this thing. So. Yeah.
I'm overall, I think, in favor of doing this, but I just, for completeness, sort of took the devil's advocate approach in our discussion thread about this. And there's like a pretty good counter argument to make where it's just like, we don't have to do this. Like we're growing acceptably now. This might be a one-time effort that introduces long-term complexity, where it's like permanently now the app is a bit more complicated. There's a fair argument to be made for the other side, which actually makes me feel kind of good. It's like, well, we can kind of pick either, and they're both probably fine.
Is this one of those situations you think where if you just told them we can't do it, would they be like, all right, fine, we'll just pay for it anyways?
Normally, yes. That would be normally my default, but this person said like this is like SSO is a hard blocker for us. So I'm inclined to just believe that person.
Yeah. What's the opportunity cost of doing this? Like if this takes 2 weeks, then you'll be shifting your focus off something else that you were going to do. So which one would move the needle more?
Yeah. Yeah. For this particular thing, my concern is less the immediate effort, and it's much more the long-term complexity cost. One of our features is this observer mode, where you can have two people on a call, but add a third person who can observe it. And that the observer existing has complicated lots of work since then. So it's like,
interesting.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it wasn't that hard to do, but it made a lot of future work hard. And I think those are the real insidious things you have to watch out for. So my concern is like, this is one of those. And like, it's like, oh, now there's multiple ways to authenticate with the app. And so every time we think about billing or provisioning or whatever, it's just like, oh, and then we have to handle this case. Okay, how do we handle it in this case? And everything gets like twice as hard.
Oof. Yep. Those are nasty.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So on StaticKit, I wanted to build the functionality that allowed someone to start paying me for the product. So I wanted like the bare minimum thing where someone can put a credit card in, and when they do that, it attaches it to a Stripe subscription and kicks off the subscription, right? And I was trying to go really lean with it and not over-engineer a billing system and just do like the very minimum touch points into Stripe to get all this wired up. But since I'm going down the freemium route where I have, hundreds of people using it, and someone at some point may decide they want to click an upgrade button, it's less feasible, I felt like, for me to like try to manually convert people over to paid, like I wanted the paid upgrade option available in the app. I felt like that was kind of important to do early on, or maybe earlier on than I would have in other types of situations. So I banged that out. I thought I architected the way the domain objects hook together in the database pretty well, but I'm already like encountering a situation where like if I end up going with like an agency model for billing where like right now like subscriptions are tied to a site. It's like you spin up a site in StaticKit that you can have many forms under and that you pay per site, right? But I've already been talking to some agencies and they're like, yeah, actually, like this is something that pretty much no one else has in the kind of the form space, is like the ability to pay for an agency account where the agency pays for the billing and maybe they pass along the cost to the client or they decide how they want to do that. But like they want to have, basically a subscription that sits on top of multiple sites. And already like I have now an inflexible data model with respect to that. And I'm like, damn it.
Yep. That sounds about right.
I didn't want to go like too many layers and have like, 5 different domain objects all loosely linking together in the event that I wanted to do this kind of really flexible billing thing. But I think I missed the mark.
It's really, man, it's such a hard problem. Like, first of all, it's just, it requires more code than you expect to integrate with Stripe. I feel like
it really does.
Still pretty hard. And then I agree. Like I've had this, so like we are in a sort of a similar situation where like people will sometimes sign up as like a freelancer and then want to move to a company plan or vice versa. And it's like, oh, well, subscriptions are tied with a team, but that's not quite right because sometimes you want it tied with a person or like it feels like no matter how you build the billing system, it always turns out actually you want more flexibility than you thought you needed. And you need things at higher levels and you need to be able to attach weird things to weird things. And I think I remember someone wrote a book about this, like an ebook. Like it feels like there's like a good amount of like battle scars here that if you've done enough of these, you could say like, look, just always make an idea of an organization that has multiple teams on it, that has multiple users on it, and let yourself attach billing objects to any of those 3 things and have them be different. And like, there's like some sort of, I think there's some real world wins you could probably write up here that would be super useful.
Yeah. I feel like I almost need to just like document my learnings for myself, for my anything in the future where that I'm doing billing related. Like this is my accumulated knowledge on this. Like this may feel like over engineering. It's not for these reasons. So just do it this way.
Yeah, man. That's another like big bucks classic trade-off question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, should you have built it so that you could make this change easily? I don't know. Like maybe there's a lot of versions of the timeline where you would never run into this and it would have been wasted effort.
Right.
It's hard to know.
Yep.
Well, at least you are writing code to let people pay you. I like that kind of code.
Yeah. And similarly along those lines, I got my first paying customer for StaticKit.
Hey, very nice. Congrats.
Yes. Yeah.
Where's the whiskey?
I know. I have a spindrift. Here we go.
Close enough. There we go. Cheers.
Yeah. That happened this week. And it always feels good, that moment where you get the first, even though it's a meager $10 in revenue, it's greater than 0.
Sure is. And, that's a magic moment.
Yeah. And if I can get one, I can get more. So
seems likely.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So have you talked to this person?
I have. Yeah. So I've been kind of blending my time between doing kind of marketing-ish tasks, trying to get awareness, distribution of the product out there, and then just talking to as many people who have touched the product as I can. So having some good email conversations. This one came through, I think, saw a guide that I published that was kind of promoted by some of my hosting partners, and it came through that channel, said, hey, the product looks really good. I have some feedback for you. We went back and forth. He described his use case to me, and I was able to turn around some features that he needed pretty fast. Again, that's like, I love this phase of being able to just do that and email him back 5 hours later, like, all right, I had a productive day today. Here's what I did. It just so happens that like your request went straight to the top because you're the exact type of user that I want to have. And so knocked those out. And after a day or two, he was like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Wow.
So,
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Commerce in action.
Yep.
So does this represent much of like a mental shift for you, or is this just kind of like a small check mark on the path of validating this thing?
I don't feel like this specific occurrence of someone converting was like necessarily flipping a switch for me, but I feel like I have been on a gradual path towards like, okay, I can see I'm gaining confidence in my ability to do something interesting in this space. I'm seeing different places I can take this and grow the product, and I've just been gaining confidence in the direction, and I think this is just another good signal for me. I mean, I've been admittedly kind of just like gradually dipping my way into here, like not making too many assumptions that this is going to be the path I'm on. But at this point, I'm feeling pretty dang good about it. I think so.
Cool. Yeah. I ran a static site backend thing for a little bit. Mm-hmm. This might have just been my own incompetence at the time, but we got plateaued in like the single digits of thousands of MRR. I think it was like 6 or 7K, somewhere around there. If you built a thing and it did that, like would you be pleased with that?
If it plateaued and stopped there, no, I would not be pleased with that. What I'm trying to get to is like a default state of being sustainable, break even on my own personal expenses. Like that's step number one for me. And I think I can see the path forward with this. It is, with forums only, it's low price point. There's reasons why it's like not attractive for the long term to just stay in this zone that it's at right now. The static site space in general is so up and coming, and I think there is kind of a trend towards more and more people moving away from kind of the monolithic CMSs like WordPress towards static site generation, and I think there's a lot of different places I can go with this. So I'm betting on the fact that there is more beyond just doing forums and making it to sub 10k MRR, But if I got to that point off of kind of a foundation, that'd be good, because really I'm trying to get like default alive and then see where we can take it from there.
Yeah, totally. I feel like if you did build a thing that was in that range and you got stuck there for a while, it wouldn't be a bad thing. You might just go, okay, well, this particular business doesn't have much more legs to it, but now I have a really nice thing offsetting my burn rate, and I can go look at other stuff now.
Yeah. So I guess, another way to flip it is like, would I be okay with that? Like, I wouldn't be, that's not where I want to land and stay, but I would welcome it if StaticKit only ever grew to pay for my own personal expenses, and then I had to shift focus into some other area, or just mutate the product and take on some bigger initiatives that are going to take a while to build. If I have that baseline of revenue supporting me, then I feel like I can take on anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I wonder about being a solo founder. It might be easier to build a portfolio of smaller apps than one, like finding one that can support, like do everything you want it to do.
I think it's very tricky to find something that is both a good fit for a single founder who's doing everything and also has like the potential to grow really quickly beyond kind of that low MRR range. It's like, I think it's really hard to find that. I can only put out so much product work and do so much marketing. I'm just one person, and so I think by nature, like anything I do that's realistic is probably not going to grow as fast as maybe something that a team of 3 or 5 could build, and that's okay. I have to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Cool. Well, all that's down the road.
Yep.
So let's pause and just savor that first customer thing. That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. Feels really good.
That's very cool. I think even just that is just, I mean, I know you've done this before, but just hitting that point is a place that almost no one gets to.
Yeah. It's a unique feeling. I got the Stripe email. Maybe I'll print it out and frame it.
Yeah, you should. That's a great idea.
Like the corner store owner who puts their $1 in a frame.
Stripe emails are best emails.
Yeah, they are.
Nothing like a payment notification. I want to do some research on this, but I couldn't find a simple answer for this. Maybe I just couldn't find the right things to Google. But I want the shortest path to a device I can have in my home that plugs into the wall and connects to my Wi-Fi, and that whenever I post to it, it rings a bell or plays a chime or something. Because I want to wire it up to like beep every time we get like a 5-star call rating.
Yeah.
On Tuple, or maybe a payment or something. And I'm sure I will turn this off pretty quickly, but I just want to do this project. It just sounds fun.
There's got to be some little IoT device on Kickstarter or something.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure they're like with a Raspberry Pi, you can probably do this somehow. I wasn't quite sure what to look for or what it was called or anything, so I couldn't quite figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to tweet at me and tell me some stuff, I'm open to ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So anything else going on in your world?
No, I think yeah, my summary of where I'm at on, like I touched on, still it's like talking to users and then just trying to do the marketing things because I've kind of just this product emerged quickly and I didn't do the 8 months of building an email list and pumping it, and building up kind of an anticipated list of people around it. Now I'm just trying to get exposure and awareness. So I'm kind of making a list. I've been working on this list and asking myself, like, every week, what can I do to get the product in front of a new audience? And so I think I have some good ideas on there, but kind of setting that as a weekly goal to like have something, whether it's a little launch of something or a guest post somewhere or just some piece of, educational content I put out, or like a little free plugin for React for some specific piece of technology that can kind of tie in with what I'm doing, like all those things, trying to keep shipping that kind of stuff every week.
I love it. The thing that I think about when I'm faced with large tasks like this, like there's a phrase that I just kind of repeat to myself over and over, which is just keep chipping away at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think for like mental health sake this week, and I've done this before, but I kind of gotten lazy with keeping this up. But I tried like Sunday evening, sat down and just thought for like 20, 30 minutes, like, what do I want to get done this week? What's attainable? What would be a stretch? And put the things down on a list and then just start like checking them off on a to-do list. I will often find, especially when I have a lot of things on my plate, it's like I will easily forget, like, was this actually a good week or a bad week? And a lot of times my perception of that is dictated by how the last 2 hours on Friday went,
Yep.
And so this list is like my own way of documenting and getting kind of those little wins just by being able to check them off.
Very savvy. I think that's wise.
Yeah.
That recency bias, you got to fight it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, sounds like we should wrap it.
Yeah. Good chatting.
Yeah, good talking to you. And good luck with the rest of the week.
Thank you. You too.
Notes of the show?
Notes for the show can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thank you for listening.
See ya.